When I was halfway through my graduate program, a naval recruiter approached me about the possibility of becoming a naval officer, given my master's degree in industrial hygiene. In August of 1995, just 4 months after earning my master's degree, I stood before a naval officer taking the oath as a United States Navy officer. My life was about to undergo significant changes. When I arrived at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina in the winter of 1995, I felt like all my prayers had been answered. I was excited because I was living the good life. I was at a new duty station. I met many new great people. I had this townhouse on the beach. And see, I had just got through experiencing some chaos during graduate school and facing some adversity in Florida. So I was excited because I was finally at a place of what I viewed as being overwhelming peace and calm. In my mind, I felt complete. I had no interest in pursuing anything else, especially with the incredible opportunities that presented themselves in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. This made my conversation with my good friend and fellow officer, Dr. Tangela Jackson Bulkley, all the more challenging. You see, Tangela asked me a straightforward question one day. What are you gonna do next? Now, in my mind, I believed I was at the peak of my career. I had a master's degree. I had come into the Navy with a little bit higher rank than some of my peers. I was making almost $10,000 to $15,000 more than I did when I was working for the state. I had a comfortable house. I was making significant strides. Why would I need to do anything else? Despite my attitude, Tangela remained unwavering. She believed I was destined for something greater than just merely being a military officer and wouldn't accept a vague answer that didn't demonstrate my pursuit of more. She was convinced that the military wasn't my final destination. Looking back, I admitted to having a couple of thoughts. I always told myself that I wanted to surpass my mother's achievements. My mom had a bachelor's degree. My mom had a master's degree. While I didn't want to endure 8 years of medical school, internship, or residency, I still wanted to at least get a doctorate. And I was considering the possibility of either going to medical school and enduring 8 years or going to law school. Tangela turned to me and said, "Great, make it happen today, and I want to have this conversation with you again." Her ultimatum amused me, but it definitely ignited something within me. I had always had the desire to do more, and her challenge resonated with my ego. Despite my seemingly perfect situation, I decided to explore the possibility of law school. In my mind, I didn't anticipate much coming from it. Little did I know that my world was about to be turned upside down. In the fall of 1997, I found myself at a crossroads in my life. I'm stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Life was good. I was dating a dynamic young lady, enjoying the company of great friends, and I was truly living the good life. Yet I had not shaken off the words from my good friend Tangela, who had challenged me to aspire to something greater, and her words of, "What are you going to do next?" With that in mind, I decided to take a chance and explore. I embarked on a journey to explore the possibility of attending law school. Now, at first, I had little faith in my chances. I had convinced myself that there was no way I'd be accepted in the law school. Despite the fact that I had successfully earned a master's degree, I doubted that I would even make it into law school. So I approached this venture with the mindset of potential failure, thinking that if it didn't pan out, I was content with my dream job, so I was good. Before diving in, I researched whether the Navy had any educational programs. Fate smiled upon me. They did. Depending on your grades and your background, the Navy could provide financial support and cover your tuition if you were accepted into medical or law school. This sounded promising, though I remained skeptical, because in my mind, I had believed that law school was out of my reach. And I applied to Florida State University College of Law, one of the best law schools in the state of Florida, and a school that one of my good buddies was attending at the time. Unfortunately, I didn't get admitted initially. They offered me a spot on their waiting list, and I accepted. But I took it as confirmation that law school might not be in my future. Then, about 30 days later, while I was preparing my Navy applications for the Navy legal program, educational program, a phone call came in that I never expected. It was Florida State. They were calling me to ask me if I was still interested in attending because a spot had opened up. And I said yes. Now, I was faced with a unique situation. I had a significant decision ahead of me, one that I did not yet realize the full gravity of. In the spring of 1998, I found myself in a unique situation. It was the final year of my 3-year commitment to the Navy at this specific duty station, and the time was approaching when I would have to change stations and relocate. Yet what made this situation even more unique was my decision to apply to law schools, exploring the possibility of participating in the Navy educational program. However, I could not have foreseen the unusual circumstances that were about to unfold. Normally, individuals with my Navy background would expect orders to be stationed at another overseas duty station. However, a different opportunity presented itself. I received orders to be assigned to an aircraft carrier. For someone with my background, serving on an aircraft carrier was considered a career advancement move, and I was hype. But I was also torn. I decided to take a chance and apply for the Navy educational program, but unfortunately, I didn't qualify for it. Fortunately, this did not impact my law school admissions. Now, I'm facing a difficult decision. On the one hand, I had been selected to become an industrial hygiene officer on an aircraft carrier. On the other hand, I had a chance to attend law school. Staying in the Navy meant I could potentially return to law school later, but the carrier assignment was for 3 years, and I could not predict where my life would lead after that, or if I'd even still be interested in pursuing law or any other academic path. Choosing law school meant I was going to have to resign my commission, leave the military, and embrace the life as a struggling student. I was at a crossroad and I needed to make a decision. I was lost. In my moment of uncertainty, I did what many people do. I called my mom. I vividly recall explaining both scenarios to her, sharing my struggles in deciding which path to take and whether I should seize either one of these remarkable opportunities. Expecting words of wisdom to guide me towards one direction or the other, my mother did what she always did. She left the decision up to me. However, one statement she made profoundly impacted my decision that day. She said, "Whatever decision you make sure it's the right decision, not the safe one." For some reason, those words resonated with me. The Navy had provided safety and predictability, which had initially drawn me to the military due to my family's military background. But I began to question if I was serving because it was the safe choice or because it was genuinely right for me. With that nugget of wisdom from my mom, I took a step back and made a decision that would shape the course of my life. I chose to resign my commission in the United States Navy. I packed up my belongings and I headed to Tallahassee, Florida. In the fall of 1998, I embarked on a new journey as a first-year law student at Florida State University College of Law. Looking back at that time, the lesson that I could truly learn was that you should never treat your current destination as your final destination. During that time period, I was so eager to get into a position of comfort and stability and just being in a place where I felt like I had achieved or I had arrived, that I had completely overlooked the fact that there were still more things for me to do. Now, I was lucky because I had people in my life who continued to push me. And as I was speaking in the story, you could kind of glean that. But the reality is that it's important that if you have people around who are signaling to you or telling you that you're meant for more, pay attention. Because a lot of times we spend so much of our time trying to get to this one destination, thinking that everything that we need in that destination will solve all of our problems. We ignore the fact that there's signs out there that are telling us that we're meant for more. And looking back, I'm glad that I listened to those people, because had I not saying that I would have had a bad life going forward, but I just would have missed out on a lot of great opportunities that were in front of me if I was solely focused on convincing myself that I was exactly where I needed to be and I didn't need to go any further. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of In the Know. I am Tony Reese, and as always, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay true.